Hi again, Gregg, the News Tribune here at Seahawks headquarters in Renton. 3 days before the NFL draft begins, Thursday's round one. So we had a press conference today with John Schneider. It's supposed to be a pre-draft press conference, but the biggest news coming out of it had nothing to do with the draft. It was about Richard Sherman and about Marshawn Lynch, the two players we've been talking about since pretty much the season ended. John Schneider said Richard Sherman was here today for the first time since the Seahawks offseason conditioning drills began last week. The three-time All-Pro cornerback was here along with Cam Chancellor for the first time and Earl Thomas for the first time meeting with doctors since he broke his leg and has been recovering from that. The upshot is that John Schneider's saying that Richard Sherman, the talk of Richard Sherman, we've kind of moved past that, was his quote when I asked him where it stood. Then I asked him, why so open? Why so oddly open to talk about trading your three-time All-Pro quarterback, your Pro Bowl centerpiece to the team? Why so open all off-season? And he said, we always have open dialogue. This was part of open dialogue. That didn't quite make a whole lot of explanation or sense, other than the fact that, as I've written a few times, that it's become obvious Sherman is at least looking to explore his potential exit out of Seattle, if not right now, in a year or two, because he has 2 years and $22+ million left on his contract, which is a lot more cuttable next year with a dead money figure of only $2.2 million as opposed to $15.8 right now. So Sherman, at age 29, knowing he'll be 30 next year in the last year of his contract, is obviously exploring where his end game could be for Seattle, be it through trade or otherwise. The other news that John Schneider had today was about Marshawn Lynch, pretty much reiterating what is already out there, that the ball is pretty much in Lynch's court to decide on whether to accept his hometown Oakland Raiders contract offer. If he would do that to come back and play out of retirement and play in 2017, then Reggie McKenzie, the Raiders general manager, a friend of John Schneider's from their Green Bay Packer days working together, and Schneider would work on compensation, in the word of the Seahawks GM, on a trade that would release the running back's rights to the Raiders. None of that has happened yet, and Schneider added he believed that the deadline to do so with the Raiders was this week in the draft, when the Raiders may go ahead and draft Joe Mixon, who's been floated out there conveniently for the team to let Lynch know that they will be ready to move on, or any other running backs that the Raiders may draft and move on from Lynch. So Sherman is here at headquarters, and it looks like he is on track to be back with the team in 2017, with the Seahawks general manager saying we've, quote, kind of moved on from that trade talk, barring any knock-the-socks-off deal that might come from another team. Schneider made sure he had it. And two, Marshawn Lynch's deadline to make an agreement with the Raiders and come back to playing football and trigger a Seahawks trade to Oakland is this week, probably the draft beginning on Thursday. Off-season workouts will continue this week. The rookie mini camps after the draft, the Seahawks are going to have a little later than usual, a week later from usual, more like May 12th and 14th rather than the first weekend of May. Thanks for watching. I'll be having my draft coverage online at thenewstribune.com all week, and follow me on Twitter at GBellSeattle for the latest Seahawks news.